First up, back in 2014, when Sony Pictures became the subject of a major computer hack, a bunch of projects in consideration or development at the studio were exposed in the ensuing public scandal. No film caught more people's attention, though, than early talk of a proposed Men in Black and 21 Jump Street crossover. From Dark Horizons, ultimately the studio abandoned any such idea, but it remains one of the more talked about might-have-been film projects of the past 2 decades. With Men in Black International hitting cinemas this week, the franchise's producers Laurie MacDonald and Walter Parks have been out doing press and recently talked about what the plan was, and answered the ultimate question, why though? They said the following: Chris and Phil are maybe the only people, because we love this franchise, and at the moment I think for us to even say okay to that was a big deal. But we love them. They're amazing. We were a little stalled on another project. We had this initial impulse, and we were having trouble getting the script there. We thought, oh, they're brilliant. It was one of those things because usually we all tire of everything trying to be made into a franchise, but to us it was actually such a crazy bold idea that's also the reason we said yes. It was just a crazy impulse that was worth exploring. Ultimately, both parties realized each series generated its core sense of humor from very different sources, and the project was scrapped. Next up, even though Warner Bros. And DC Films will be sitting out San Diego Comic-Con this year for the first time in several years, that doesn't mean that every single Warner Media property is staying away from Hall H. From /Film, a new report says that in the wake of its final season finale, HBO's Game of Thrones will return to the convention center for the first time in 2 years. Discussions between HBO and Comic-Con organizers are reportedly in the final stages, but it's unclear which cast members might be taking the stage in front of fans at the convention. Author George R.R. Martin is anticipated to appear in one form or another. Next up, Amazon is developing a series loosely inspired by Sandra Bullock's college years. Bullock will executive produce the series along with Akiva Goldsman and John Legend. From Variety, the series is described as a dramedy set in the world of music and dance. It will take place in the American Deep South in the 1980s, where one darkly offbeat young woman defies expectations and sets out in search of love, community, and an identity of her own. Should the project move forward, it would not be the first TV series that Bullock has produced. She was previously an executive producer on George Lopez's self-titled ABC comedy series, which ran for 6 seasons. Next up, Netflix is bringing back adult-skewed animated anthology series Love, Death, and Robots for another season. Tim Miller created the series and executive produces with David Fincher. From Deadline, Love, Death, and Robots showcases 5 to 15-minute episodes created by different animation teams from around the world. The series features a wide breadth of genres, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and comedy, that house the stories told through animation styles from traditional 2D to photoreal 3D CGI. And finally, Michael Rooker of The Walking Dead and Guardians of the Galaxy has joined Amazon's Dark Tower series based on the novels by Stephen King. The actor announced his involvement on his official website. From comingsoon.net, no details have yet been released on who Rooker will play in the show should the series get picked up for its planned 13 episodes, including the pilot. Rooker will join Game of Thrones' Jerome Flynn, who will be playing a cowboy, as well as the previously announced Jasper Pekkonen of Vikings, portraying the Man in Black, and Sam Strike of Night Flyers playing Roland Deschain, aka the Gunslinger. The series was originally planned as a tie-in to the 2017 The Dark Tower film that starred Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Amazon shifted gears and is now planning for the series to be a more faithful adaptation of the book series. And that will do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed.